everybody that bought in the area at that time. And I can't remember the year now, but I know the woman that, one of the neighbors that lived across the street, she was on a panel, and she actually, her name was Diana Sherman, and she, I don't know if any of you recognize the name, but anyway, she had something to do with actually stopping the jets for a few years, and that was, you know, that was quite a feat. And then, I don't know, then something happened with her, but they moved, and anyway, it's like everything just kind of ran amok, and jet traffic increased over the years, and like it's been brought up, there's like a black soot. I mean, I see that on my neighbors, like on their lemon tree. It's like a soot on the stuff, on the lemons, and I live on Berry Avenue, right where Sardis comes down, and in the summertime, like about 3 to 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, in the summer when I got to shut the windows now, because it's like all the jets will sit there and idle, and it just comes right down Sardis, and it hits right there at the T, and I'm like 2 houses over, and it's just awful. You have to shut the windows, and we'll be sitting there watching TV, looking out to the east. One of these times, it looks like one of these jets is going to hit the house. And like I say, I've been a resident there for over 50, you know, close to 55 years, and I've seen like the different prop jobs. We had one go just not too long ago. It actually hit the power lines in front of across the street, that block in there. Hit one of the power lines, came down, and destroyed one of the houses. Just went completely up. And then earlier we had a little prop job go down at the end of our block, and then, I mean, that was a while ago. And then on well, it was
Mountain Avenue.
Yeah. So I mean, what's to say that it can't happen with a jet? And if a jet misses its landing, it's not going to just catch one house on fire. It's going to take out a bunch of houses. And those are kind of my concerns.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Anyway, thank you.
55 years. Appreciate it. Yes, ma'am.
I just have a general question for everybody. Because I don't live on the west side. I live in the San Fernando Valley, so the climate is significantly different. But I trust most of you don't have air conditioning. Is that true? Okay, so it's mainly to cool off, open the doors and windows and that kind of stuff, and so it's just natural ventilation. So very few of you have actually air conditioning. Is that correct? Okay. Thank you.
Please, your name?
Yeah, thank you. My name is Judith Davies, and I live at 623 Marine Street on the west side of the airport in Santa Monica. And technically, the flight path, I guess, is Rose, but more often than not, they come right overhead. And, you know, I see them come off the airport. I have a good view of them. And I can see each one of them come off. And I even went up on the top of our roof and took video of them 2 years ago. And it's time to do it again. But it was within the minute, every 2 minutes, at certain times through the day, mainly on the weekends. Sunday morning is a great one for jets to come off, or air, you know, the prop planes. Doesn't matter. They're
How long have you lived there?
13 years.
Mm-hmm. Has it gotten worse?
Much worse.
When did it start getting much worse?
Well, I can't say for sure, but again, as someone else said, it builds up. And I would say, I was on the roof 2 years ago because I was so outraged at the frequency, the number of planes that come off at a short interval, a short time.
Besides the noise?
And I would say within the last 4 years.
The last
probably.
4 years, have you gotten also the soot or the pollution or whatever that, or just
Nothing
the noise?
that I can see that I can, I water everything all the time. I don't use pesticides or anything.
Right.
That's the way I deal with my garden. But I'm really concerned about what I can't see. And I have extended family that live in South Central, and I think about them. All three children have asthma. And I think about the cumulative effects of the pollutants with what is already going on in the LA Basin and what the jets must be doing in combination with everything else.
Thank you.
So,
Appreciate your comments. Thanks for
I
coming.
have a question, Bill.
Please,
From all the
Sarah.
testimonies that we have heard tonight, it seems that the number of jets have increased significantly.
Yeah.
My question to you is that has there been any environmental impact report on these increase in numbers? Because there should have been. And what I like to see is that environmental impact report, what they say in terms of the noise pollution, in terms of the air pollution, in terms of economic effect, all of those things need to be specified. Has there been?
no.
No.
From what we gather, Sarah, no, that there hasn't been any. Does any other panel expert want to respond to Sarah's question? Should there be? Could there be? Does that fit within the scope of either the county or the AQMD or any of that?
May I make a comment, Bill?
Please, Michael.
I have a letter dated January 28, 2002, received by the Honorable Henry Waxman, Representative Congress, and it's from the Federal Aviation Administration responding to a letter that he sent in 2001
Closer to the mic.
when there was a proposed rule amendment to regulate fractional aircraft ownership to allow these fractional aircraft, which are a large portion of the jets entering the Santa Monica Airport, to use more of the available runway space. And Congressman Waxman noted that this could have safety, noise, and pollution concerns and issues, and requested an environmental assessment. The response is quite detailed, but here's a direct quote. We also considered whether an environmental assessment under the National Environmental Policy Act would be required. We determined that this rulemaking action qualifies as a categorical exclusion, as a rulemaking that does not have the potential for significant impacts.
And that came from a response to the congressman's letter.
Yes, and this is signed by Administrator Jane F. Garvey of the Federal Aviation Administration.
Well, we have Maxine Waters as rep here, so I think he'll follow up with that, and we'll ask him to get with what you have there, and we'll get Maxine Waters to take a look at it. And of course, also Jane Harmon is now associated with the geography near the airport, as well as Henry Waxman. So maybe we could ask Edgar to coordinate with the three congressional offices and see what kind of a follow-up response they can do to this. Thank you, Michael, for sharing that with us.
Yeah, I should note that I'm not an expert on all the legal details of this
understand.
amendment,
Right.
but these letters are posted on Congressman Waxman's
Right,
website
right.
for anyone to
Okay,
to
great.
read.
Thanks for that. Please.
Yeah, I just had one other thing.
Sure.
The size of the jets. I know there are larger sizes, B and C, I've forgotten the categories, but the jets are getting bigger as well as more frequent.
Yep, thank you for that. I have 9 of you citizens here in this audience who have volunteered their homes for a site for air pollution monitoring. 9. And you have your street address here, you have your phone numbers here, and I'm now just going to pass it right on officially to Jean, because this is a working meeting here, and Jean then will contact you and we'll go forward. So at this point, Jean, I want to hand you from Linda and Ron and Mike and Roland and Deborah and Josh and Margie, Jean and Lisa, their addresses, and please investigate them.
Thank you. I will pass this on to our monitoring group. I should have noted earlier that we have our Assistant Deputy Executive Officer, Henry Hogo, here with us, who actually heads up our monitoring and laboratory group.
Excellent.
But
Closer to the mic.
Thank you. And I do also want to state that there are several instruments that we're putting out. They do have, as I said, a substantial footprint. They require significant space around them and separation away from vegetation, trees, and the like. They also, in addition to the noise of their